As the NBA season continues to chug along, there's now a dark horse whose name, I should say, is making its way into the MVP conversation. Sixers center Joel Embiid, the 26-year-old, averaging a career best, more than 29 points per game right now. And while the Sixers do have undeniable talent like Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Dwight Howard, Seth Curry, he's put the team on his back with an 18-7 record, 2 games ahead of the Celtics right now in the East. So taking a look at the odds to win MVP, according to our partners at William Hill, when they first put out their odds back in November, he was not even a blip on the radar. Now third at plus 500, I should say, tied for second there with Jokic. Let's welcome in our very good friend, the champ, Rip Hamilton. Rip, let's start with Joel Embiid working his way as a favorite right now to potentially win MVP. And there's a couple things here, Rip. The way he's conditioned really seems to have improved his game. And I mentioned this going into the break. If he were to win, he'd be the first center to do so since Shaq back in 2000. It's been a minute.
Oh, yeah, yes, it is. And I think the big question mark on Joel Embiid, especially coming into the season, is can he come in shape? And he actually looks great. I mean, you see him out on the floor. He's doing a good job of running the floor. Doc Rivers, we got to give him a lot of credit, too, because Joe Embiid actually believes in him. I didn't think he believed in Brett Brown last year, him or Ben Simmons. So what he's doing, one, he's being great on defense, as you see right there, as a paint defender. Also offensively, he's a guy that's welcoming double teams. The thing that I love about him too, he's getting into that face-up position on the block. And one dribble, he's able to get to the basket and finish over anybody. Shoot 5% from the field, which is a career best also. But the thing I like about him most, it doesn't seem like he's getting gassed out on the floor. So now you can go at him more and more opportunities on the offensive end and without worrying about him getting fatigued in the fourth quarter.
The team of the 76ers will be facing tonight the Trailblazers. They are still 5th in the West despite having major injury issues on that team. Nurkic is still out. McCollum's still out. Last Thursday when they faced the 76ers, they had 6 players out at that time. They still managed to win. So, Rip, how are they powering through despite these injuries?
They're doing it by committee. I mean, they understand that Dame Lillard has been banged up all season. CJ McCollum has been out for a couple weeks now. But I think the young guys that really came in the locker room and understands that, hey, in order for us to get out of this little foxhole, especially with all the injuries with Nurkic being out also, is we have to do this by committee. I thought Gary Trent Jr. has done an excellent job knocking down shots, taking a challenge on guarding one of the best offensive players on opposing teams. But the biggest thing that I love about them, nobody's trying to go out of their game to try to fulfill and try to help Dame on the scoring point and try to play out or is playing out of character. They're just falling into their roles. They're defending. They're getting out on the break and trying to get easy plays at the basket.
All right, so 1 week ago tonight, they met. The Trailblazers won over the 76ers, 121-105. Now, Ben Simmons missed that game when he was asked what he was looking forward to in this one. He said, plain and simple, winning. What are you going to be watching for in tonight's game?
Well, for the Sixers, I mean, they got to come out with energy. I mean, I think last time when Portland played against Philly, Portland was really banged up. I mean, they didn't have any all-stars on the floor that can kind of match up with the players that Philadelphia 76ers had. And they really took advantage of that and came out and got a win and kind of punched them in the face early. So look forward for the 76ers to come out with a lot of energy. You got to remember, Portland scouted for Ben Simmons to play in game 1, which he didn't play. So look for Ben Simmons to come out really aggressive. Hopefully Philly can get off to a good start, pushing the tempo and trying to get easy baskets on the offensive end.
Hey, Rip, let's move on to the Raptors here, 5th in the East right now, facing off the team just ahead of them in the standings, the Celtics. But we're going to get to that game in a second. But I want to talk about the Raptors first because they've been pretty inconsistent so far this season. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, they're not getting the opportunity to play on their home court in Canada. They're playing. The sunshine makes everybody feel better. I know when I played, I just felt like I was a lot quicker and faster playing in warm climates. But for them, they just had a bad start, starting off 1-5 early in the season. Defensively, they've been really bad. You got to remember, they lost Marc Gasol. They lost Serge Ibaka. two guys that are a great rim protector for their defense. And Baines hasn't done an excellent job on the offensive end or the defensive end for the Toronto Raptors. He's a guy that's usually coming off the bench, and now they actually moved him to the starting lineup, and he hasn't been effective as them two other guys. Pascal Siakam, a guy that really struggled in the bubble. Now, early in the season, he's been struggling again. So for order for the Toronto Raptors to get back to the team that we're used to seeing them play, they got to do it by committee on the defensive end, and Pascal Siakam got to be playing at a high level like he was last year when we were talking about this guy could be a potential MVP.
Rip, you would think playing in Tampa with all the championships they're getting there, that would actually be good luck. They need to get in that mentality there. All right, let's move on to the team they're facing, the Celtics, 12-11 so far this season, 5 games behind the 76ers. So what do they need to do, not just to win an NBA title, but to try to win the East?
Well, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on my UConn alum, Kemba Walker. He has to play better, Amanda. I mean, he's only shooting 34% from the field, 30% from the three-point line. He's a guy that got a big deal when he came over to the Boston Celtics. Great locker room guy, was the right fit for the Boston Celtics. But his performance, especially with injury, kind of went downhill. So he has to play better for this ball club. The guys in the locker room look for him to make big plays on the floor, not just to be a leader on the floor, but he needs to score baskets. I thought Jaylen Brown is playing excellent basketball all season long. Him and Jason Tatum doing a good job of really attacking the basket. For most of the season, Jaylen Brown has actually been their best player, in my opinion, on this Boston Celtics team. But I put a lot of pressure on Kemba Walker's back. He has to play better. He has to knock down shots, because in order for them to win the East, they can't just win with just Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Kemba has to play better.
I hope he's listening to this, because Kemba Walker, Richard Hamilton just called you out. You need to step up your game. All right, Rip, the last time these two teams met, it was January 4th. The Celtics won that one, 126-114. What do we expect tonight?
Well, look for Toronto to really get up in them defensively. They've been struggling all season on the defensive end, but they're leading the NBA in forcing turnovers. And the Boston Celtics is a team that turns the ball over at a high clip. So look for Toronto to try to get up into the Boston Celtics defensively, and Boston got to pretty much not turn the ball over, try to get easy baskets, do all the things that they've been doing all of last year. They can get the win.
Rip, before we let you go, I want to talk about the Heat really quick, because I felt like so many high expectations for this team leading into the season. It's been a slow start for them. They have managed to rattle off 3 wins in a row, 2 against the Knicks, 1 against the Wizards. They're facing off against the Rockets tonight. So what is your feeling about this Heat team as of right now?
Well, I always said it. I said it last year. Jimmy Butler is probably one of the most important players to his team, probably top 3 in the NBA. And it showed early in the season, because when he's not on the floor, this team struggles. And it doesn't just struggle offensively, but even from an identity standpoint. When Jimmy's out on the floor, it seems like they play harder, they play better defensively, they're connected by the hip. He's a guy that when they look to need for a stop on the defensive end, he's picking up the best player on the team. When they need a basket late in games, he's the guy that they look for to make that play. So I just think with them not having Jimmy Butler early in the season, it really showed in their struggles on both ends of the floor.
Rip, they're 11th right now in the East, 7.5 games back of the 76ers. If you're the Heat, I mean, can you make it work with the guys there, or do they need to make some sort of a move?
Well, I think they do have to make a move. And the only reason why I say that, because this is not a team that just wants to make it to the playoffs. This is a team that made it to the NBA Finals last year. And you heard in the summertime where, heard different rumblings that they were trying to go out and get a guy like James Harden to add another superstar to that roster. I still think that they're one piece away in order to get over the hump and to contend for a world championship.
All right, a lot of info there. Calling out people, telling the Heat they need to make some moves. Rip Hamilton, thanks so much for hopping on with us here on HQ. We'll talk to you very soon. All right, taking a look at those notable games tonight. We went through quite a few of them there. 76ers, Trailblazers. The 76ers looking to right their loss 1 week ago. Celtics, Raptors, and then Heat, Rockets there. Rip Hamilton saying the Heat might need to make some moves if they want to do a little bit better this.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.